Yo, what is going on, guys? It's C-Brev. Welcome to another MLB The Show 20 video. In this one, I'm going to be walking you through all of the possible rewards that have been revealed so far for the XP reward path, going through all of the major packs and giving my opinion on who the best cards are and who I think you should be taking in all of these packs. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more MLB The Show content. Drop a like on the video and comment down below if you so choose. It helps me out a lot. So we're going to run through all of the types of packs that they revealed on stream. We can only really see as far as like silver 30, silver 40 in terms of the XP reward path from what they revealed, but we kind of get the gist of the major packs and the players that are in them. So we're going to go through the silvers, bronzes, the golds, and then the classic diamonds, the high diamonds, and finally the level 1 diamonds, which are 99 overall. So let's just start off with the silvers and bronzes. Also, evolution cards, I made a separate video about those, so I'm not going to be going over them in this video, so go check that out on my channel. But to make a long story short, I think that the best choice for evolution, this evolution pack, is Dennis Eckersley your first time through, and then I think your second time through the best choice is a tie between Eddie Matthews and Carlos Gonzalez. But not going to dive into those because I have a totally separate video on my channel about them. So let's look at the bronzes and silvers. There's not going to be a whole lot to see with the bronzes and silvers, obviously, because they're budget cards. Keep in mind, I think because they are bronze and silver from the XP reward path, they're sellable. So if you want any of these, you can probably pick them up for like 500 stubs day one. I highly doubt they'll sell for much, but I wanted to talk about 3 of them that I think could be pretty good budget beasts early in the year. This is one of them. Rookie card catcher Craig Biggio, who has 90 speed and also outfield secondary positions. So I think this is a really good budget backup catcher if you choose to run one early in the year. You can use him as a pinch hitter, you can use him as a backup catcher, you can use him for outfield if you need it, although with the low fielding ratings that might be a little risky. But for a silver card, really not bad. Very solid backup catcher option. Wanted to talk about this Vita Blue as well. Left-handed relievers are very hard to come by, especially early in the game cycle. And for a silver card, this Vita Blue looks really nice on paper. 15 mile an hour difference between his fastball and curveball, and 16 mile an hour difference between his fastball and changeup, and his fastball gets up to 98 miles an hour, which means I think he can hit 100 if you get max energy on the pitch. Additionally, he has 41 stamina, which is pretty high for a reliever, and stamina is an incredibly important stat this year for pitchers because of the ability to use openers, pitcher energy being a thing, and being able to basically select whatever pitcher you want at any time. I think stamina is really important. So for a silver card to be left-handed, a left-handed reliever throwing 100 and having 41 stamina and pretty decent per nines as well, I think this is a really good card out of a bronze and silver pack. Really good card. Also, there's a John Franco, who's a new legend. He is also a left-handed pitcher. Can't tell from this card if he's going to be a starter or a reliever, but if he is a reliever, I think this could be a good budget option as well, because like I said, left-handed relievers are hard to come by early on. So not a whole lot to talk about out of the silver and bronze packs, but a couple budget beasts that I was keen on from that. So let's move on to the gold flashbacks or the pitchers gold flashbacks. Let's see what level these are at. So 25 bronze is the first time you'll see these. Choose one pitcher. There's actually so many good choices in this pack, it's kind of crazy. So we got 84 Oral Hershiser. Oral Hershiser cards have always been insanely good. His 92 was completely dominant in that last year. This could be a really good 5th starter for you for a long time. Also, I think these golds are sellable as well, but they might be slightly high on the price tag because they're a little bit low on supply early in the year. Lee Smith, also a decent budget relief pitcher. He's on the lower end of who I would take from this pack, but still a pretty good card. He typically has a cutter and a forkball, which have been pretty good pitches. This postseason Nolan Ryan, especially intriguing as well. He is a relief pitcher, Nolan Ryan, and he also has very high stamina. His pitch selection is usually fastball, changeup, curveball. Very similar to Vida Blue, except for he's right-handed. But another reliever with high stamina who you could benefit from a lot having in your bullpen early in the year. Also, Gold Goose Gossage may be the only available reliever in the game with a slurve coming out of the gate, so that could be pretty interesting. His slurve is usually pretty nasty, although 80 overall, I'm sure his per nines are not that great and his velocity is a little down. And this postseason David Price is also intriguing as well. As I said before, left-handed relievers, hard to come by. This is a reliever card for David Price, and he's been pretty good. In past games, he will only have four-seamer, changeup, curveball, I believe, but he should have pretty high stamina as well. So a lot of good choices in this gold pitcher pack, actually. I think I'm going to go with Oral to kind of get a fifth starter, but a lot of things you could go with in this one. Moving on to hitters, not a whole lot to talk about. Gary Carter, catcher, is a pretty shallow position, so having an 84 gold catcher could be a good move, although low overall Gary Carter cards typically aren't very impressive on paper, so I'd imagine this one isn't like a crazy good gold card. Not a whole lot to talk about with these gold hitters. They're mostly just budget players. But one thing I did want to mention, they brought up Chipper Jones, this 83 overall card. We can't really see his stats because of the face cam or his attributes. But we know Chipper Jones has a good swing on the game. His cards have always been really good. He's a switch hitter, which is nice. And also something important to see is that he has a shortstop secondary on this gold card. So this could be a really good option for a budget gold shortstop early in the year. Switch hitting shortstop. His defense is going to take a hit, and it's already pretty low, so proceed with caution. But I think that's pretty cool. A nice budget option for shortstop early on in the game cycle. Alright, so that's it for the lower tier packs. Let's jump into the juicy stuff. So we're going to go over the classics, the high diamonds, and the level 1 stuff. So skipping ahead to classics. The first one you can obtain is at level 40, bronze, and the next one you can obtain is at level 25, silver. So you're going to be looking at about 85 levels between these packs, which sucks because in my opinion this is one of the toughest choices to make out of any of the packs that are available for XP reward path. This might be the hardest choice to make out of all the packs. This is just crazy. Alright, so we got Alberto Mondesi, and we got Charlie Morton, and we got Gary Sanchez 87. So why is this pack so difficult to make a decision on? It's because all three of these cards fit a niche that you can't get from any other card in the game as far as we know at the very beginning of the game cycle. So what do you get out of Alberto Mondesi? You get a switch hitting shortstop with gold fielding, I think he has gold fielding. Yep, gold defense. Switch hitter, can play second or third, and has 97 speed and 96 stealing. This card is insane, especially right out the gate, especially because you can pick him at bronze 40. Shortstops are typically pretty hard to come by early in the game cycle. There's just not a lot good ones, except for like Live Series Lindor, who always sells for a ton. And so I think, man, this card is so good. All three of these cards are so good for early in the game cycle. So that's what you get out of Mondesi. Going back a little bit, if we look at this Charlie Morton, he fits a niche as well. So we don't know the attributes of this card. I would assume they'd be pretty similar to how they were. This is a relief pitcher card, I believe from MLB The Show 18 or 17 maybe. I guess it is 17, it says right there. This card, when it came out, had 70 something stamina for a relief pitcher. If this card has anywhere close to that, this card is going to be so overpowered. Especially, like I said, stamina matters so much more this year. Being able to use an opener, this card would be an insane opener. Being able to use any pitcher when you want, pretty much. This is going to be, man, if they copy paste his attributes, this card is so good. Like 70 stamina relief pitcher with 5 pitches. Man, you can't get that from anywhere else, especially early on, and it's probably someone that you can roll with in your bullpen for like months, because we probably won't get another long relief slash opener option this good for a long time. And then not only that, but we have Gary Sanchez in this pack, who has over 100 power to both sides at the catcher position. I think they show him. Yeah. So this Gary Sanchez, by the way, silver defense is pretty good for a Gary Sanchez card, and all the stats that matter are above 70: fielding, arm, and blocking. But yeah, 101 power versus right, 102 power versus left. This is an insane card for a catcher early in the year. So the fact that you only get one of these as a bronze is really tragic. And to this point right now, I'm still not 100% on who I'm going to take. I think you could make a strong case for any of them between Morton, Mondesi, and Sanchez. Alex Reyes looks pretty good too, but he's just not in the same caliber as the other three, because you can kind of get 88 overall starting pitchers pretty easily. But man, this is so tough. I'll probably go with, here's what I'll say. If Morton's stamina is above 70, I'll probably have to go with Morton. If they nerf Morton's stamina to like 50s, I'll probably go with Mondesi. And the only reason I'm knocking Gary Sanchez for my own choice is because I'm planning on taking Buster Posey at Silver 1, but we'll get to that later. So this is a really tough call. I wish I could give you guys an answer, but all I can really say is that one of these three is going to be an amazing option for you moving on into the year. All of these cards are so good. Alright, so let's move on to the high diamonds now, which is a much easier decision, ironically. So here's the high diamond pack. Let's skip back just a little bit so you can see when you get them. It's bronze level 80. They said this is pretty similar to the Kershaw pack for last year. We couldn't see when the next high diamond pack was on stream, but I would assume it's around the mid levels of silver, so like silver 50-ish, silver 40, silver 50, somewhere in there will be the second version of this pack that you'll be able to get. But this pack is actually a very easy decision your first way through in the bronze level, and it's because Corey Kluber looks completely insane. This 99 Kluber, I mean, he's got to be your first pick. I'll just say this, if you're taking a hitter here, you're making a massive mistake, and I believe that Corey Kluber is by far the best choice for your first way through. But you can make an argument because Hal Newhouser and Raleigh Fingers are both very good cards. But just look at this Kluber. There's some debate on whether whether his pitch repertoire is accurate, because it looks pretty weird. But man, just look at these attributes: 109 stamina, 103 hits per 9, 109 K per 9, 95 walks per 9. 91 sinker, but a 97 cutter. So he's got 6 mile-an-hour difference between his sinker and cutter, which is just absurd. And they gave him a slurve instead of a curveball this year. I'm sure you guys have seen this card somewhere, but if you haven't, this is the new Kershaw. This card is so crazy. If you're not taking this card at bronze 80, I think you're making a mistake. That's just my honest opinion. And that says a lot because Newhouser and Raleigh Fingers are very good cards. Let's see. Here's Newhouser. Super interesting with Newhouser, 124 stamina, almost maxed out stamina out of the gate, which is just crazy. He's also left-handed and can hit 100 miles an hour and has pretty good speed differential between his off speed. So this card looks pretty nasty as well. I just don't think you can pass up Kluber on your first way through. And then, as I mentioned earlier, relief pitchers are pretty hard to come by, so this Raleigh Fingers looks insane as well. Great attributes, and 38 stamina is pretty high for a reliever as well. 3 goons out of this pack. Like I said, if you're taking a hitter, you're just doing it wrong out of this pack. 3 absolute goons, but I think you have to take Kluber at bronze 80 no matter what. And then when you get around to silver 40, silver 50, whenever the next one is, I think you got to choose between Raleigh and Hal, and it just depends on whether you want bullpen help or if you want probably the best left-handed starting pitcher that we're going to get in the game for a long time. So that's a decision you'll have to make down the line, but bronze 80 should be Corey Kluber every single time. So finally, we'll move on to the level 1 diamonds, the 99 overalls. You get these for moving from bronze to silver, from silver to gold, from gold to diamond. And this is a little bit of a tougher choice. There's really 4 cards that you can make an argument for your first way through, and I'll go through all 4 of them. I'm leaning towards Buster Posey as my choice for silver 1 for my first choice, because he'll probably be the best catcher in the game for a very long time, and then I won't have to worry about that position for months. That's kind of where I'm thinking. But you can make the same argument for both Sandberg and Larkin, because they are playing at pretty niche positions. Middle infield, getting high overall middle infielders early on is pretty rare as well. Keep in mind, at the time of making this video, we don't actually know who the collection rewards are yet, so that could change things. If we get a 99 overall catcher for the collection rewards, and you're someone that spends a lot of money to get the collection rewards done early, that will change your decision. So just make sure you are deciding on who you're going to pick out of this pack based on how you're going to formulate your team otherwise. So if there's a big collection reward at shortstop, and you're going to do the collections early, don't take Barry Larkin out of this pack. That's pretty common sense, but just wanted to point it out. So I think anybody but Reggie Jackson you can make an argument for. I think Reggie Jackson is a bad pick here. The card actually doesn't even look that good. He's got really poor fielding, and his hitting stats don't necessarily make up for it. Let's see if they show him. Let's see. They show Sandberg here, so we can look at Sandberg. Sandberg looks nice. It honestly looks almost exactly like a copy-paste of his signature card from last year. All these numbers look super familiar to me, so it might even be an exact copy-paste. But this is a good card. You can play him at third as well. Second base is pretty shallow early on in the year, so I like this card a lot. Here's Larkin. Pretty good card as well. You'd like to see higher fielding, but he was never really like an insane shortstop. But this is just a great card all across the board. Aside from the power versus right, this is going to be a contact hitter for you versus right-handed pitching, and right-handed pitching is going to dominate, especially early in the year. So maybe not the best choice, but again, shortstop, pretty shallow position. And like I said, make sure you're making these picks, formulating them around your other picks for other stuff. So if you're taking Mondesi out of the Classics pack, then there's really no point to take Barry Larkin at Silver 1. Once again, pretty common sense, but just figured I should talk about it. Will they finally pull up Reggie Jackson here? Let's see. There he is. So, yes, these hitting stats are pretty insane for early in the year. Yes, Reggie Jackson always has a really good swing on MLB The Show, but I just think outfield is so deep and his fielding and speed is so bad that I don't think he's worth the pick. You can fill your outfield with guys that can do fine, and you're not going to be missing a whole lot by not taking this card. I would much rather take a 99 overall at a position that's a lot less deep than outfield, especially when the guy that I could pick for the outfield has pretty poor fielding and speed. So I just don't like him as a pick. He's the only one I would not suggest. Minnie Minoso, a little bit sneaky. This card looks very good. On the contrary to Reggie Jackson, he has good fielding and good speed. He also has insanely high contact and vision. This is going to help you a lot early on in the year versus these beastly pitchers that are going to be running rampant. And also, I really like that he has third base secondary, which is pretty unique because as we've seen so far, there aren't a ton of in-game options at third base that they've announced up to this point. So, good option as well. I like the positional versatility. I'd probably play him in left or center. But yeah, really good card. And then they're going to pull up Buster Posey here. And on paper, Buster Posey looks really good. Except for one thing. Again, the power versus right is going to hurt him. He's going to be a contact hitter versus right-handed pitching. And right-handed pitching is going to be very prevalent earlier in the year. But I just think with catcher being a shallow position, I'm just going to knock out catcher and have a 99 there, and then I don't have to worry about it for a really long time. They usually don't release high-end catchers, that many of them. It's just there weren't that many 99 overall catchers throughout MLB history. Pudge will probably be one, and like I said, we don't know who the collection rewards are yet, if we're going to get a new legend. If they announce Josh Gibson or someone like that as a collection reward, that's going to completely change the dynamic of what I'm talking about. But I'm just going off the information that I'm doing now. So I like the idea of picking a 99 catcher, being done with that position for a long time. This Posey will be amazing for you, and as it stands right now, he looks to be the best catcher in the game for a long time moving forward, and he is a complete player except for power versus right and speed. But even then, 73 is not the worst power in the world. So if you were asking for my opinion, I'm going to go with Posey in this pack, but you can make a strong argument for Larkin and Sandberg as well. And I also like that Mini Minoso card, even though he's not that exciting. Not a lot of people are hyped for him. Not a lot of people used him last year, but I think he's a really good card as well. So to summarize, like I have said a couple times now, make sure you're making these decisions based on how you want to formulate your team in the macro picture of things. Make sure you're making the right decisions and completing a lot of different positions as you move through these XP reward paths. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Drop a like down below. As always, drop any questions or comments if you have them. I tend to respond pretty quickly to those, and I appreciate the engagement from you guys. Let me know who you're taking in these packs, man, especially the Classic pack. I want to hear your arguments for who you're going to take out of that Classics pack, man, because all three of those cards are just so good. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the content. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.